Hello, dear students everywhere. I'm so pleased to have you today. Today's lesson is going to be so much fun and we're going to learn something new. Let's get started. Learning is fun, so honored to teach you. So let's have a look at this photo and tell me, what do you think? Those people here, do you think they are sure about what they think of? Or they seem they don't know? Tell me your opinion, guys. Actually, I think those people have some doubts. And doubts mean when we don't know or we are not sure about something. So we say we have doubts. So I guess those people have doubts. So how can we express these doubts? Actually, I have something for you, which is a quote, and I feel like it's so interesting to learn. Let's have a look. Okay, it says, a weak man has doubts before a decision, and a strong man has them afterwards. Actually, I feel like it's so much fun. All of us have doubts, okay? It differs from a person to another, of course, but we all have doubts. So, how can I express having doubts or being not sure about something in English? Let's see. We have something today to express the doubts or not being sure, and this is called a question tag. A question tag. What do you mean by a question tag? It's a short question used for confirmation. It's a short question called question tag and is used for confirmation, to be sure about something. Let's have an example. Your neck is a little long, isn't it? Isn't it? So tell me, where is the question tag here? We have here a question tag, which is, isn't it? See, just two words. So we made a question of two words. This is the rule or the grammar rule of today. Isn't it? So how can I form a short question for confirmation? How do we use question tag grammar in English? Let's have another example. This lesson is quite interesting, isn't it? This grammar rule is so simple, isn't it? See, I'm asking what the other person thinks, and I'm asking for confirmation to have like a certain answer. And I made a question just of two words, which is question tag. Okay. So to be honest, it's so easy to have such a question tag in English. Let's have an example. You are afraid, aren't you? You aren't afraid, are you? So is there a difference between the two examples I have just read? Tell me, what do you think? Let's read them again. You are afraid, aren't you? You aren't afraid, are you? So they are different, right? The question tag and the first example is aren't you, are not, aren't. The second question is are you? So in the first example, we have a negative question. Negative. Negative means we add not, negative. Okay, in the second one, we have a positive question. And by positive, we mean we don't have negative word. We don't have not, for example. Okay, so why did I do such a thing? Why? In the first example, I said, aren't you? And in the second example, I said, are you? It's quite dazzling, right? Okay, let's have the rule of today. If we have a positive statement, it means a sentence without any negative words. Like, for example, he is tall, as, not isn't. They are happy, or not aren't. So in this case, it's a positive statement, a positive sentence, affirmative. So in this case, there is one condition to form the question tag that should be negative. So positive sentence, negative question. Again, positive sentence, negative question. Positive, negative. Are, so it's gonna be aren't, is gonna be isn't in the question, and whatsoever. Okay, what about the other example? When we said you aren't afraid, aren't. So I use the negative sentence. Okay, negative statement. So we are going to do like, yes, we are going to use the question in a positive form. We are going to delete any negation words. Okay, let's have a look. You aren't afraid. Are you? Aren't? Or aren't. So easy. Okay, so let's have some details of how do we form the question in English. This question is a short question and it consists of two parts. The first part is auxiliary verb. Auxiliary. What is the meaning of auxiliary? We're going to learn about it right now. And the second thing is subject pronoun. What is the subject pronoun? I'm talking about a person. So Ahmed, we say he. He is a subject pronoun. Hiba, she. She is a subject pronoun. So we have subject pronouns like he, she, they, we, and you. And last but not least, I. Again, he, she, we, they, you, and I. This is the second part of the question. Regarding the first part is the auxiliary verb. And as we said earlier, if the sentence is affirmative, what is mean by affirmative means it doesn't have any negative word, the question or the auxiliary verb is going to be negative. And if the sentence is a negative, it has a negative word like not, aren't, isn't, haven't, hasn't, whatsoever, the question has to be affirmative. Okay, so let's learn and have so much fun about this. We first need to know what is the question are we going to form here. He is so boring. This is a question. No, it's a sentence. And I need to make a question tag, a question for confirmation. How do I do so? The first thing I'm going to decide, this sentence is negative or affirmative, positive or negative. Yes, it is positive. Here we have is, not isn't. So it's negative or positive? It's positive. Great. Okay. Number two, I need to make a question. So the question or what is the auxiliary verb I'm going to use? It's here. I just gonna take it from the sentence. I'm gonna use it. It's is the auxiliary verb. So is going to be, isn't, and I'm going to use the subject pronoun, which is he. So let's have a look again. The negative or positive sentence, it is positive. Great. Okay. What about the auxiliary verb? The auxiliary verb is. Okay. What is the subject pronoun? The subject pronoun is he. Okay, so easy. So the question is going to be, isn't he? That's it. This is the correct answer. He is so boring, isn't he? And I guess, yeah, he's so boring. The man is yawning right there. Okay, so he is so boring, isn't he? So I just ask myself a couple of questions before saying the correct answer. Is the sentence positive or negative? What is the auxiliary verb I will use? And number three, where is the subject pronoun? Easy peasy. Okay, so we learned about the positive or negative, and we have learned about the subject pronoun or the pronoun that I'm gonna use like I, we, they, you, he, and she. Okay, you told me earlier that I'm gonna teach you about the subject pronoun. So what is the subject pronoun? We already talked about it. What about the auxiliary verb? Where is the auxiliary verb? Okay, the auxiliary verbs in English, we have some primary ones. Okay, like is, am, are, which are verb to be, was, were, the verb to be in the past, have, has, had. We have also do, does, and did. So the auxiliary verbs, we have verb to be, am, as, are, was, were. We have, has, had, which is verb to have. And we have verb to do, which is do, does, and did. So every time I see such an auxiliary verb from this list, I'm going to use it and I'm going to add a subject pronoun. That's it. Let's have an example. He was alone. He was alone. Okay, so the auxiliary verb is was. We will change it into wasn't. Wasn't he? That's it. Okay, so do we have other auxiliary verbs in English? Of course we do. We have some auxiliary verbs which we call modal auxiliary verbs. Can in the past is could, may and might, shall, should. Well, would, used to, ought to, also some verbs that can we have in the English sentence. And used to is the past. In this case, we use the auxiliary verb did in the question tag. Must and some other auxiliary verbs like well and what. So in this case, for example, if we have a sentence with can, for example, he can swim. He can swim. Positive sentence, the auxiliary verb is can, and the subject pronoun is he. So can't he? Great job. Okay, so it's your turn. Let's have a sentence with well. For example, my friends will travel. My friends will travel. Well, it's a positive sentence. The auxiliary verb is will. We will change it into will not or won't. And we have the subject, my friends. They. Won't they? Okay, so we have learned about the subject pronoun that we are going to use. So this is time for a short request to answer, guys. Let's have a look. We have some sentences here, and we have some answers or some question tags that we're going to match the question or the sentence with the question. Ready? Let's have a look. The first question. They are professional. Which one I'm going to choose from here? They are professional. It's positive. Where is the auxiliary verb is are. So we're going to change it into aren't. Yes, this is the correct answer. Aren't they? Great. Aren't they? Number two. My dad has arrived. My dad has arrived. Well, it's positive, so the question is going to be negative. Where's the auxiliary verb? Has. So we're going to choose a question tag that hasn't. A question tag with the word with the auxiliary verb hasn't. So it's gonna be hasn't he. Great job. Okay, the next question. My sisters didn't travel. Okay, the auxiliary verb is did. It's negative. We're going to change it into positive. Did. Did they? Great. Okay, let's move to question or sentence number 4. Number 4 says, she must study harder. Auxiliary verb here is a modal auxiliary verb, as we mentioned earlier, which is must. So it's gonna be, mustn't she? Perfect. We shouldn't go without an invitation. I think so too. We shouldn't go without an invitation. The auxiliary verb also is a modal one, which is shouldn't, and we will change it into positive one, which is should. So, should we? Okay, that's all for the exercise of today. The next exercise is going to be a multiple choice exercise. Let's have a look. She is from a small town in China. Is positive, negative, isn't she? Number 2, they aren't on their way already. Where is the auxiliary verb? Aren't. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to change it into positive, negative, positive. Are they? The next one. She doesn't work in a hotel. The auxiliary verb is doesn't. A negative one, we're going to change it into a positive auxiliary verb, which is does she. They need some new clothes. Perfect. Where is the auxiliary verb here? Do we have one? No. So what should we do in such a sentence? We have verb to do. Do, does, or did. So in case we don't have an auxiliary verb in the sentence, we're going to look. If the sentence is present, like the present sentence, we're going to use do or does. If the sentence is past, like past simple with ed, or like went or swam, I went to school, I swam in the pool, this is a past sentence. So we're going to use did. So here, they need some new clothes. This is a present simple sentence. Yes, so we're going to use do or does. We have they, so we're gonna use do. Okay, the sentence is positive, so we're gonna have the negative one. Don't they? The next one. She studies very hard every night. Great. We don't have an auxiliary verb, but we can notice the sentence is present one. So we're going to use do or does. Perfect. Studies, she, one person. So doesn't she? The correct answer. That's all for today's lesson. It was grammar lesson, and I hope that you liked and learned something new. Pleased and blessed to teach you.